All right. Welcome, everyone. Come in, come in, come in. Welcome to your first million or your next million or your 10th million. We were just chatting about that in the pre-chat, how once you do one, you want to do more and more and more. And it's so fun. We are so happy and excited and very, very grateful to be able to spend this time with you today. And we want to just acknowledge you for being here as well, for taking this time to invest in yourself, to think bigger for yourself, to start thinking about what's really possible for you as well. I'm going to let me share my screen here because we have some beautiful visuals for you. Um, Allison, do you want to take a moment and introduce yourself? I am joined by my beautiful, fabulous business partner, co-host Allison. You want to take a minute and say hi?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So excited for this. This is going to be such a fun next hour and a half talking about your first million, the pathway to get there. And honestly, this has really been inspired by me building my first million inside of my business. And so much of that has been because of the work we've done in the She Sells community and working with Elyse. And so I became a certified professional coach around 7 years ago in the dental space, is where I started. And I was scaling businesses. I was helping companies really, really get better at their numbers, their people. And I realized that there was a different way of doing things. And the only reason I realized that was because I met Elyse Archer and I was watching the way that she was scaling her business and she was doing it in this beautiful feminine way. And I knew as I was on my entrepreneur journey, very motivated, a high performance athlete playing on the national volleyball team and scaling all these very masculine businesses that I wanted to do it differently. So sure enough, almost at least I can't even remember. It's been like it was a long time ago when we first met.
A
I
hot minute.
started, yeah, a hot minute. I started working with Elyse and really understanding how to scale my company. So I've been speaking on stages for the last 7 years. And in the last year and a half, I hit another quantum leap to really be able to scale my business and live the life of my dreams and help other women do it in a feminine way. And so much of that has been through AI, through having a really, really powerful brand, through sitting in my feminine energy in new and different ways, and really, really understanding the methods of quantum leap. So that's me. And I can't wait. I'm seeing all these amazing, beautiful faces come into the room. Some I don't know, but most of you familiar faces. But we're so excited to be here with you today.
We're so honored. Yeah, shout out. Who do we have? We've got Linda Bishop in the house. Welcome, welcome. We've got Laura, Cindy, Amy, Christy, Aubrey. Oh my gosh, we love you all. Who else do we have? We got Patty. This is so good. This is really special. And I was sharing this with Allison before we went live. I thought about this yesterday. She Sells started a little over 5 years ago officially, although it was something that was in my heart for a long time before that, but with a webinar and a training called Your First Six Figures. And I remember at the time, I was like, man, if I could just help a lot of women make six figures, that would be great. And it felt very aspirational, and it was, something I'd done in my own business. And we had a lot of women come in, and I mean, it kickstarted the company that women were coming in and making a lot more money, and they were making six figures, and it was exciting. But then it started feeling really small. I don't know how many of you have had that experience where what was once felt big to you felt small. And this training, it's really a natural evolution of where I think we've gone as a company and what our heart is. And I'm so honored and excited to be able to bring this to you with Allison. I think she's someone in our community who has embodied this material really powerfully and has shown what's possible when you do go all in on this. But our passion, our heart is in helping you as a female founder entrepreneur, although we've got a lot of great community members who are men. So I want to shout out and acknowledge you. We've got a lot of great sales leaders in our community too, who aren't entrepreneurs, but really today is for primarily our female founders who are out there who want to make $1 million. And just give us a yes in the chat if you're like, I'm ready to make my million. I'm ready. I'm here for it. Yes. I'm here to tell you it's not a lot. If it feels like a lot, we're going to hopefully help you dismantle that, make it feel a little smaller today as well. But I remember having a mentor, and this was when I was making six figures in my business. She said, Elise, it is a lot easier to make seven figures than it is to make six. I see Linda nodding her head. Isn't it? For those who have done it, is it not? Now that sounds crazy. That sounds nuts. Like if you haven't done it, you might think that's insane. What are they talking about? But I'm here to tell you it is. Allison, would you agree now that you've
Yeah.
done it too?
It's amazing. And I think part of it is like really when you make seven figures, you who you become allows for so much more. And so I think that's the cool part of all of this work that we're doing.
I love that. Who you become allows for so much more. I think that's so true. And we're going to talk about that today. We put together these three pillars for you. So we'll share just super quick. Today is about you. It's not about us. We're going to share super quick background. But what we have experienced in our own lives and businesses that has made it possible to build multi seven figure companies now while working part-time hours, living our lives, being, I'm a mama, Allison is getting married in less than 2 months from now, like traveling the world. We have different things outside of our companies that we're doing. But we want to share these three pillars that we have seen make the biggest difference. We're also going to share a really cool story of how I don't want to say accidentally made 1 million last year with one thing because it wasn't accidental. But the point is to share how quick and easy this can be. And then we've got some really cool things coming up that we want to share with all of you and how you can take advantage of it if it speaks to you. And we also have something really special for you that is today only if you want to roll with us on it. So we'll share that at the end too. But if you have questions, if you're excited about this, if you're curious about anything as we go, drop it in the chat. We love for it to be interactive. We don't want to just sit here and chat at you the whole time. We want to talk with you as well. But so these three pillars that we're going to talk about today: feel like $1 million, look like $1 million, and sell $1 million. We're going to talk about why all three matter, how to do all three as well. Now, I have a new screen set up, so I am trying to advance our slide. Okay, here we go. Bear with me, y'all. Allison is the tech person. I'm over here. I'm just gonna figure this out. We're gonna do this. So, I what I want to share, we'll just do super quick background. And Allison shared some of her background previously. And like I said, I've seen how she's embodied this material in a really powerful way. I hope that anything we share about us simply gives you permission to say it's possible for me too. Really, 5, 6 years ago, I was a woman who, no matter how hard I worked, I couldn't break past the low six-figure mark, had a lot of anxiety around money, was looking at other people building businesses the way that I wanted to and thinking there was something special or unique about them. And it's been through this material and really investing in myself, being willing to get uncomfortable, but also being willing to bet on myself bigger than ever before, that my life has transformed dramatically in a really short amount of time. And I'm blessed to be a woman who now runs a company that does multi seven figures in sales and has three kids, six and under, and is, able to be a present mom for them and to really pour into all of you who are here in the community as well. Um, and I think it's through this material that all of that transformation has happened. And what I will say is this is not about you doing more. It's about you believing in yourself. It's about you claiming it for yourself. And then it's about you having a clear path to get there as well. Allison, anything you want to add on to this? I know you've built out your $1 million business through a 3x3 schedule, which I know has really excited a lot of the members of the community. I don't know if you want to speak to any of that or just anything else here that you want to share before we go further.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was for me creating a very compelling vision for what I wanted. Like, I think we all want to be successful. We all want to have time freedom and all want to have these things. Like, they sound so nice. But for me, what really started shifting things was creating a compelling future that I was unavailable not to have anymore.
Mm.
And because there was a period of time where I was kind of just like going along and I'm like, why isn't it happening? Like I'm not making this shift. But really when I created this future vision that I was so lit up by, so excited by, that I couldn't imagine my life not being that way. That's when things started to shift because it gave me that really, really compelling why. And so when I met my now fiance, about to be my husband in 2 months, which is wild, we've got some wedding planning to do. um, we decided we wanted to have a 3 by 3 schedule. He was a clinician. He was working 3 days a week, 3 weeks of the month. And I wanted to be available to spend time with him and go on vacation with him and travel to Europe and do all these fun things. And at the time, I was working like the 7 by 7 schedule. Like I was on the road, always working, doing all the things. And so by creating that vision and really reverse engineering my company to fit inside of that schedule, that's what allowed me to become more efficient, to be clear about what I wanted to do and what I didn't, what I was no longer available for. And that really moved the needle for me. So lifestyle, life, your vision, getting so lit up for your vision was part of the reason why it was able to be that way. And then of course being in this community and understanding the work that we do really and going all in on it, like Elyse said, like making that decision that I'm going all in. Like this is happening. That really allowed things to move really quickly.
It's one thing that I think is important for all of us today. And again, I love men. I'm a mama of two boys. We got a lot of great men in our community. I love, love, love my men. And I think that there's a lot of teaching or beliefs out there that to make $1 million or more in your business, it's going to require hustle. It's going to require grind. It's going to require you to outwork, even the language, the competition, right, is rooted in scarcity. And it doesn't. Here's what I got to tell you. In fact, the moment you're in hustle, the moment you're in grind, you're in scarcity energy. And you're never going to create a large amount of abundance for yourself in an energy of scarcity. It's just not going to happen. So, part of what we want to do today, and part of what we do within the community, and really want to teach all of you, is how do you create a radical amount of abundance, maybe more than you could have ever imagined in your life and in your business from feminine energy? From wealth consciousness first and then action second. Is there action involved in creating your millions? 100%, right? That's part of it. We're showing up here today, we're doing this, like there's an element of that for sure, but it is not hustle, grind, outwork the competition. I think that that model will only get you so far. And so we'll just invite everyone to maybe take a big collective breath, a sigh of, I don't have to do it the way I've maybe been taught before. And Allison, to what you shared about vision and being anchored into that vision, vision is feminine energy. And we always want to lead with our feminine and then let the masculine action support that as well. So I'm going to start and just share this here because I want you to start thinking about if you knew you had $1 million coming in the next 12 months or less. Like, let's have fun. Let's play with this because we want to get into our vision. If you knew you were going to have 1 million or more come in the next 12 months, what would that make possible in your life? Like you had ordered it from Amazon. That's how I like to think about these things. You ordered it from Amazon, you know it's coming. What are you doing? Take a minute and really think about that. And I invite you to reflect on it, journal it, and then drop in the chat what shows up for you with that. Allison, what are you doing with your next million while they're thinking about it?
Oh, we're buying a place in Europe. we
Ooh,
we bought a place in Arrowhead this year as our like cabin, but now we're like, where would we love to spend time in Europe somewhere? And so this March, we're actually going to go spend a month there and just go and see what it's like and get into the feeling and the embodied state of it and decide where we want to have our little villa in the countryside, somewhere
look
in
at
Italy,
that.
maybe.
Look at that. And to be a woman who has gone, again, 5, 6 years ago, both of our lives were very different. right? When you and I connected, you were just coming out of working in dentistry, just starting your business, and now you're going to look at a villa in Europe, right? I think it's so important to realize how quickly this can happen for you when you follow what we're going to be talking about today. All right, let's see what women are saying. Expanding my impact. Yes. Signing the lease on the California beach house. Yes, Christy. I love it. Update my wardrobe. Treat my friends to a day spa. 3 weeks off traveling. Look at that. Visit Christy at her California beach house.
Me too. Me too, Laura. Christy, I'm coming over.
I love it. Linda, buy an apartment building. Yes. Patty, paying my. There you go. You know what? Money opens up a lot of doors. It creates possibility. Danielle, buy my home in Florida. There you go. City, buy a home with half of it. In-laws. Yes, this is beautiful. Amy, travel and time freedom, more investing, scuba dive more. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We wanted to share and keep sharing if you're thinking about this, but I think last year we had an experience of how easily and how quickly $1 million can come in when you're aligned. Allison, do you want to share just really quickly about the experience we had of making $1 million in a really easy, fun, aligned way and some of what we're going to be teaching today from it?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I would say, and this is something that has become almost a mantra for me, it's become an anchor into every single next move or next effort that I make, is how do I provide more value? How do I bring in more of what people need in the time that they need it? And we're in a very interesting time in the world right now where human needs are changing. And that can feel for a lot of people like scarcity, but it can also be an incredible opportunity to serve people at a different level. And so I was recognizing that there were women in our community that had a specific need. And I was like, Elyse, what are your thoughts on this? How do we pull this together to provide more value, to build something that we haven't built before, serve in a way that we haven't served before at a deeper level, to bring people into an experience that allows people to have more access, a different opportunity? And from that, I literally just sent over a spreadsheet. She's like, this looks amazing. It feels good and right. Let's go for it. And so, sure enough, a year later, we weren't like paying that much attention to it. Like we weren't like, we're gonna make $1 million. Like there was none of that. We were just like, this feels really powerful and it feels really good. And it feels honestly really easy for us to bring this to life, which is one of the indications that I know I'm on the right track. If it feels really hard, it's not for me. If it feels really crunchy, it's not for me. But if it feels aligned, if it feels easy, if it feels really powerful, if I'm really lit up by it, I know that that energy is going to be able to sustain the success of it. And so we built a program together and we realized that a year later with just a spreadsheet, we had we'd sold $1 million in that specific offer. So anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. Well, I think you said something really important there. Like if it feels hard, if it feels crunchy, and it's funny because Christy, you and I were having a chat earlier today about things feeling hard, right? I love that you're here. Um, like that's a sign that it's out of alignment. And I think so often, like if it has felt hard for you to make whatever amount of money you're making right now, whether it's 50,000 a year, 100,000 a year, 200,000 a year, 500,000 a year, we can almost think, okay, I'm going to have to multiply that effort to make more. Like I'm going to have to, I see Linda not or shaking her head. No, it's not true, right? One of the biggest things that I have learned in this journey, and again, I worked with a lot of great men and learned how to sell and make money under a lot of great men, but then I was like, I feel like I'm in hustle. I feel like I'm in grind. I feel like I'm not doing enough. And I started working under amazing feminine mentors who taught a totally different way of selling and making money. And one of the biggest concepts that I took out of that was a concept that I call efficacy over effort. So sometimes we think it's only like I can only make a lot of money if I effort it, if it's hard, if I feel like I deserve it because I've pushed and grinded hard enough. And I think it's a very different mindset at the $1 million level and above. It's way more about, like Allison said so importantly, the value you're putting out in the world, the efficacy, right? Like what is actually mattering in what you're doing. It's not about the number of hours you're putting in, it's about the value you're contributing to the world. And I think that part of that comes from really knowing yourself, knowing your gifts, your talents, your zone of genius. What are you here on the planet to do that no one else can do? And then being willing to unapologetically bring that forth into the world. And so, if there's any way in which you've been hesitating, you've been holding back, you've been thinking, who am I to do that? There's someone else who's better at it than me. I can tell you the people who aren't doing that are the ones who are going out and making their million. The ones who are like, you know what? God gave it to me, source gave it to me, universe gave it to me. I'm going to leverage these gifts, these talents. I'm going to bring it into the world and serve. Those are the ones who are making the money right now. And we want to help empower you to do that as well. So we're going to teach these three pillars today. It's very organic when we teach. So we're going to bob in and out and weave, and it's going to be really fun. If you have any questions, again, type them in the chat. We're here to help support as well. But so these three pillars, this is the foundation of your first million. The first is to feel like $1 million, right? I want you to even think about like when you're feeling really good and you have a day where you're like, man, like yesterday, I had a day where I was like, this hair is doing it for me today. I'll tell you, we're down in North Carolina right now. You walk outside, it is a sauna. How many of you are walking outside into a sauna right now? Like, it is not every day that I walk out. I'm like, this hair. But yesterday, the hair gods were with me, and I said, you know what? I love it. And I was like, I feel like $1 million today. That is the first pillar here, is to feel like $1 million. Now, this is deeper than the hair, though, y'all. It's way deeper than the hair. Okay. If you are in the community, you know that one of the things we teach and say again and again and again is your results will never supersede your identity. You're never going to out earn your identity. I think this is why in my own journey, I felt, how many of you have ever felt like you keep bumping up against a threshold? Like you're like, man, I know the right things to do. I'm taking the action. Why am I not getting bigger results? Like, what is wrong? And you always make it like there's something wrong with me or everyone else gets this and I don't. How many of you have had that experience? I was trying to make $1 million with a six-figure identity. And that will always be the limiter. It's always your identity. Allison, you are brilliant in all things neuroscience. Is there anything you want to add into this before I go any further into this about just how our results never supersede our identity?
Yeah, there's a statement that I love to say, and like I want to hear from the group. Like, what do you think when I say this? When I say this one statement, is it like a positive sentiment? Is it a negative sentiment? Like, I want you to just hear kind of like first instinct, gut instinct. Get honest with yourself. Get honest with yourself. Do you take that as like positive? Do you take that like, tell me just in the chat, first instinct, get honest with yourself. Beautiful. Danielle says positive. Positive. Okay, I love this. I love it. So when I say that, I mean like get honest with your gifts. Get honest with who you really are. Get honest with the things that you are amazing at and own it. Because one of the things about feeling like $1 million is actually seeing how amazing you are, actually seeing your gifts, actually seeing the things that you're amazing at. And I see so often when women are in this space, they're like, oh, like this little thing, or oh, this little talent that I have, or oh, this little gift. No, see it for really what it is. And that is part of feeling like $1 million, is actually saying to yourself, like, wow, I am gifted at this. Wow, I'm good at this. Wow, look at me go. And getting into the habit of actually seeing yourself as you are, and get honest with how amazing you are. Get honest, Cindy, with how you can channel. Get honest, Lily, with how amazing your life story was. Christy, get honest with how incredibly brilliant you are, and own it. Because no one else is going to come and tell you, hey, Elyse, like, I mean, I will, to be fair, but like, hey, Elyse, like, this is your absolute gift. You have to own that first. And we so often are so good at looking at the things that we need to get better at, or we need to ascend into, or we need to like achieve better. But it's up to you right now in this moment to be like, wow, like I am exceptional at this. I am so good at this. And that is the identity that I hold. And this is how I describe myself. And so that's a practice that one of the things that I really did, I was like, I got honest with myself. I'm like, how am I describing myself? to the outer world. And I wrote down, and I was like, that's not that's not really who I am. It's actually bigger than this. It's actually better than this. It's actually more powerful than this. And so some of the words that I used to describe myself were like easygoing, like very relaxed, chill. And I'm like, actually, I am a badass. Like I am powerful. I am talented. But how often do we leave those words for someone else? And so that's a piece of really feeling like $1 million is getting honest with how incredible you are and seeing that more often, choosing to see that more often than the areas we need to grow. Because we all need to grow. We all get to grow. We all get to ascend, but allow yourself in those moments to be like, yes, this is who I am. Yes, this is how amazing I am. Yes, this is my talent. This is my gift. And you're going to start to choose to do different things because of that.
That's brilliant. I love it. I think about like being your own best publicist. I think that's part of this, right? If you were going to be like the hype woman of your own story and almost like getting outside of the box of your own limiting beliefs, but you were going to be your own best publicist and best position your story and who you are to be in whatever publication, Forbes, Inc., Time, like whatever would light you up. How would you describe yourself? And starting to actually identify as that woman, that's part of the nervous system realignment here. So let me, oh, hold on, go back to this slide here. One moment, y'all. You disappeared from my screen. Here we go. Okay, we're back. So the identity thermostat, how many of you have ever had what felt like maybe a big month to you? A big month where you made more than you were used to making. And then the next month, what happened? It went back down, right? Revenue or sales went back down. How many of you have ever had that? I've had that happen. So you got to know you're operating from a thermostat, and it's called your identity and your self-concept. So we want to get to the place where a larger amount of money, let's say 100K months, feel really neutral to you. Now, that's part of the work that we do with our clients. That's part of the work we do within the community is helping you feel safe with more abundance. Because if you do not feel, it sounds crazy, I know, and consciously we can be like, of course I want $1 million. Of course I want to make 100K a month, whatever that number is for you. But if that threatens your identity or who you think you need to be in order to be safe in the world, you won't do it. And that's part of why you can have some of that roller coaster experience. So just like it says here on this slide, if you have a month where revenue, you sell way more, but you haven't stabilized that for yourself, that doesn't feel normally natural for you. What do we end up doing? It's something Gay Hendricks calls the upper limit, right? In the book, The Big Leap. Maybe you stop selling, maybe you stop posting, you overcomplicate things, you create emergencies. So it's just an awareness. And this, I think, is some of the most important work that we'll do with women in the community. Because Allison, you and I coach, we co-coach several of the women in here, a lot of the women in here, is to help call you out when you're having a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, this thing feels like a disaster. I'm suddenly doubting myself, or maybe I really shouldn't launch this thing. To be able to say you're upper limiting right now. You have no idea that you are because what your brain is telling you about why you shouldn't go launch that offer or you shouldn't go call that prospect sounds really real and convincing, but you're actually upper limiting. So there's an identity thermostat that we want to learn to program and dial up to allow in higher and higher amounts of money and abundance and sales and actually feel safe in that as well. So you can start to just play with it. And I always look at, Allison, I love the question you asked before about get honest with yourself. The question I look at is I want you to think right now about your financial goal for this year. It's going to be a little different for everyone, but whatever that number is, if that came in today, how would you feel? Type it in the chat.
And I think, Elyse, like when we're talking about feminine business owners or female business owners, this is one of the biggest distinctions for a woman founded business is how important safety is.
Mm.
Because consciously we could say, of course I want that million. Of course I want it. It's like that makes total sense. But the brain wants you to stay the same more than it wants what your conscious mind wants. And so that's where safety comes in so much when it comes to women in business and being able to allow yourself to say this change consciously. I know it's good, but from my nervous system, from my biology, from my energetics, it also feels good. And I get to be safe inside of this.
That's so good. That's so important. I think if we don't know that, we self-sabotage.
Yes.
We always go back to what feels safe. Like Linda said in the chat, there's comfort in the familiar 100%. And I love what you all shared here in the chat too about how you would feel when that money comes in. Joy, relieved, thrilled, magnificently grateful. Look at that. Finally, it's happening. So here's what's powerful to know is if you would feel anything other than, oh, of course, you're not quite a match for it yet. Nothing wrong with that, but it's beautiful awareness to say, "Ooh, if this would feel big, if this would feel exciting to me, if this would feel like yes," which we all start there. But until we can get ourselves to the point where we feel safe and comfortable in that number and safe with that amount of abundance, that amount of responsibility, that amount of potential visibility, then we're not going to do it, or we're not going to do it consistently as well. So it's just really powerful to know. And that's part of what, with what we're talking about today and with what we're going to share with you, that's part of the work here is letting that feel natural and normal, that it's natural, normal, and safe for me to be making $1 million this year as well. The other thing I want to share with you in terms of feeling like $1 million is you get to learn to think differently. And this is so important. This is a concept Neville Goddard calls this thinking from the end. So it is really easy and tempting to think from circumstance. So to say, I can't do that thing because what do we say? There's not enough money in the bank. There's not enough opportunity. I don't see it in my pipeline, so I don't know how I'm going to sell it. That's the current self. If you think according to your current circumstances and you make decisions according to current circumstances, you're never going to move beyond your current circumstances. All right. What we want to train ourselves to do is to go to the end and to think from the end. This is critical. This is part of how my first financial quantum leap, going from being stuck at the same income level for over a decade to 10xing in 6 weeks, turning my annual income into my monthly income in 6 weeks. It's because I did this one thing. I finally went to the end. And I said, all right, for a woman who has $1 million business, I had a 6-figure business at the time, but for a woman who has $1 million business, how does she invest in herself? How does she think differently? I had an opportunity come up to coach, to invest in myself in personal coaching, and it was a $50,000 investment for 6 months. I didn't have that money sitting around, but I felt drawn to it intuitively. I had to really overcome the old self. And I had to say, well, a woman who's making $1 million a year, that makes sense for her. That's natural for her. I had heard you should invest 5 to 10% of what you want to make in coaching every year. So I said, okay, I guess it makes sense. And I found a way to scrape together. It was just the deposit. I didn't even have the full amount, but to scrape together the deposit on a credit card. It was that moment where I acted as the $1 million self versus the 6-figure self that everything rearranged fast. Everything rearranged fast. All right. So I'm not sitting here saying, oh, just put a bunch of money, invest in anything on your credit card and you'll become a millionaire. That's not what I'm saying. It was the energy and the intention of I am changing. This is happening. This is non-negotiable. I am doing it. I am no longer available to not be this woman, just like Allison said before. And with that, coupled with the action, that's what changed it. So the old version of you might say, what can I afford based on current circumstance? But the $1 million self says, well, for the life I'm building, what does that require? And then how can I make that happen? It's a very different energetic. So I want you to just think about the woman who creates. Again, for some of you, this is going to be your first million. For some of you, maybe it's your second million, your 10th million, right? We have women here of all different levels, but what does she believe? What does she no longer tolerate? I want you to think about those patterns, those things that show up for you again and again. Like maybe you have constant scarcity patterns, or these patterns of like weird stuff happening with team. We all have stuff, right? But those are the things that are keeping you connected to the old self. When you become no longer available for them and you're ready to see a different way. And what's really happening is you're ready to see yourself in a different light. Like Allison said earlier, that's when they shift. But what does she invest in? How does she invest her time? I want you to think about one thing right now that's different, that really stands out to you there. Linda, what if you feel excited 1 minute but waggle back to nervousness? That's okay. So you're working on normalizing the new level. So what we know is that whatever that number was for you, you're not yet a vibrational match for it. By the way, it's so good to see you here, Linda. Um, but doing this work and what we're talking about today in this training, we'll talk about beyond, it is about normalizing that number. I would just take it right now as awareness of, okay, I'm not yet a match for it. You're never a match when you first start with your goals. That's really the point of the goal, is to actually become a match for it, right? All right, Allison, anything you want to add to that before we start talking about how to look like $1 million?
Yeah, I would say like when I first got really, really serious about this, I created an image of myself as the $1 million business owner. And I acted as if she was my advisor in any decision that I was going to make. When I looked at my calendar, when I was getting opportunities, when I was noticing some of the behaviors or patterns that I was living in, I would ask myself, like, what would that millionaire version of Allison say about this? And you get absolute clarity on like, she wouldn't do this. Like, this is not the opportunity. This is not the moment. Or she would go for this all in. And that's where, Linda, it's normal. And actually, it can be a good sign to feel a little bit nervous because what it means is you're doing something different. It means that you're making a choice that is expanding you. And that was where, like, for the year, I just would advise myself. I'm like, okay, $1 million Allison, like, what do you think about this? And I would have that clarity of like, yes, go for it, or that's that you've outgrown this. But if you operate, like Elyse said, from where your current circumstances are, you're going to stay in the current state. You'll just be in that energy and in that environment and that financial capacity for longer. And so it requires you to do something different. And our brain, again, it prioritizes the same. It wants us to do the same thing. That's where we get to know and understand what's happening and then make a different choice anyways.
I love that. I love that. Building that self-concept and letting her advise and coach, which I think is part of the power of being in a community like this or a space like this too, is sometimes people say, well, how do I know what she would say? How do I know who she is? You got to be
Mm-hmm.
around other women who are at that level so you can know and understand because it is a different level of consciousness. Um, uh, Avantika, am I saying that right? How do you hold on to those beliefs or ideas when you've never hit those numbers? Keep the faith. I honestly, I mean, I would say it's such a great question. I think a lot of it is community. I really do. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's community. I think it's proximity because you start to normalize whatever you're surrounded by. So when you're surrounded by women who are normalizing those numbers, who are saying, I think that's part of the power of we've got some really cool masterminds groups that are part of this community. When you're around other women who are like, yes, I just made $50,000 this month, $80,000 this month, $100,000 this month, you learn that it's safe. You learn that it's okay. I'll plan your bougie divorce trip once you ever see. Yeah, Allison, if you want to add anything in there, or we can start talking
Yeah,
about looking like $1 million as well.
just from your nervous system perspective, and again from the neuroscience perspective, like our mirror neurons, they are so powerful. And so that's where the quote, like, if you want to become someone else, like, or if you want to expand into a different level, find the 5 people that you want to become like, because we truly become like the 5 closest people in our life simply from our mirror neurons matching and mirroring the energy of others. And so this for me was, it was non-negotiable for me to become very protective of my energy and also intentionally and aggressively put myself into rooms and spaces where I'm like, I want to have what you have. I want to be like you are. I want to think like the way that you do. And that will automatically start to allow you to feel safe to do that. But also you start to mirror naturally and subconsciously the behaviors, the mindset, the thoughts of those around you. It's so powerful. It is so powerful.
Amen. I love it. All right, talk to us about looking like $1 million.
So when I made a decision that my old life. I was no longer available for it. I went and got a really gorgeous new brand shoot done because I needed my new brand identity. I needed my new company to embody the woman that I was becoming. It was just a decision I made. I was like, this vision in the world of the way that I'm representing myself, I've outgrown it. And so I made a decision and I was like, I'm going on a rebrand and I am going to get the most gorgeous photos. I'm going to look the way that I'm becoming. And this is part of the nervous system and the embodiment practice. So, if we try to do all of this work just from our conscious mind, we are missing a massive power that we, especially as women, have when it comes to embodying change. And that was something where I was like, okay, Allison, what does a woman, the version of you who's made $1 million, who's making $1 million plus in your business, how does she show up? What does she look like? How does she feel? What does it feel like in her skin, in her body, in her clothes? And I started getting really clear on that and started making decisions that would allow me to like really sit in that vision and in that embodiment of it. And so this is something that I think is really important that a lot of times men in business might not talk about as much, but feeling and looking the way that you want to be allows you to automatically, subconsciously show up differently. And there are so many statistics that show like when a woman is carrying herself in a certain way, when she's dressed up in a way that feels really right and well and good for her, better sales, more success. Like there are studies on this. And so it's not about like you have to look a certain way. It's about looking a way that makes you feel amazing and represents the power, the energy, the capacity that you have to the world. Anything you want to say to that, Elise?
Yeah, I'm just like, amen, amen, amen. It's so funny. I was in the so we're in our North Carolina condo right now, and I was walking down in the parking garage today, and there's a woman who works here. And she like paused me on the way to the car. I've got like the three kids, and there's a lot going on in this walk to the car, but I've got my outfit on and I'm like styled. And she's like, I just have to tell you, she was like, the way you look every day, like, I love how you show up. I love your outfits. And I said, thank you. We were talking about this on a mastermind call recently, just the power of receiving and thank you. But I do that for myself every day because it makes me feel different. I show up differently. It feels good. Like I don't care if I'm, yeah, this morning I was washing dishes, getting the kids ready, doing the thing, but I'm like, I'm in my beautiful silk shirt and dress nice and like trying to make sure the kids don't get spit up on it simultaneously, which is an interesting experience. But I think the biggest thing we talk about this in this community, your level of income will never exceed your level of self-worth. And when you start to really do the inner work to feel like a woman who is worthy of $1 million, you suddenly no longer are okay with maybe showing up the way you used to, not in a bad way, not making her wrong. Like we love that version of us. She's amazing. And you start to shift what you tolerate in your life. You start to shift what you expect of yourself. That's with everything, with your attire, your appearance, your brand, like you said, Allison. Chrissy's saying the inner work is where the gold is 100%. So, and that changes how the world perceives you. And this is not about making yourself wrong. This is not about not loving ourselves. This is so important. I used to be a woman who'd be so hypercritical of herself, and I would try to show up differently or do my makeup a certain way or dress a certain way because I was trying to like hide flaws and it was trying to cover up insecurity. We have a concept we teach in the community called selling from wholeness. This is about recognizing the magnificence of who you are and then being unavailable to not let that shine out. You want to dress her up a certain way. You want to show up a certain way. You want to wear the nice perfume. You want to wear the heels on a Tuesday just because you can. I wore my sparkly Louboutins to drop off my kids at daycare the other day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it because I can. It was like a Monday. I was like, I'm doing this because I can. That energy, it not only helps you feel good, but it's something in the science of getting rich, Wallace Wattles calls the impression of increase. Your clients are going to be attracted to that. Have you ever bought something from someone just because you're like, I don't know what it is, what she's selling, but I just want it. Like her energy, there's something in it where I'm attracted to that. Your people are going to be attracted to the energy you put out, which is of self-love, of confidence, and that is visual. We are visual for a reason. So That's what I that's what I would
Yeah.
add in. I don't know if that,
Yeah.
where that took us, but that's what I would add in.
It's so true. It is, it's so true. Like when I was recently at a Tony Robbins event called Business Mastery, and it's like it's a very intense event. It's very cold in the room. It's very, very masculine. It's like, let's go. And I every day just very intentionally dressed up. And people were commenting, they're like, oh my gosh, like you look so feminine. You look so good. Like I had many people come and comment on the way that I was dressed. And it was interesting to me because I was like, yeah, this is how I feel on the inside. It wasn't that I was trying to like put on a show. It was like I'm representing who I am with the way that I'm dressed. And the way that I'm dressed is powerful, it's purposeful, it's beautiful. That's how I feel. And so it really is a representation of that internal work. It's a representation of like that self worth that I love investing in myself. I love dressing nice. I love looking cute. I like run around my house all the time and tell my fiance, I'm like, look at how cute I look. And he's like, yep, you do. You look cute. But if we don't see ourselves that way, if we don't see that our own gifts, how do we expect the world to see us?
Yeah,
So it really is, it's so powerful.
amazing. You want to walk us through this framework? Premium is perceived before it's purchased.
So we make decisions subconsciously in our brains. Like our brains are so smart. They're so ready to make a judgment. And that can sound like not a good thing, but it's actually one of our strongest survival mechanisms to be able to notice and perceive things around us. And so this comes with when people before they talk to you, before they know who you are, before they know your name, they will create a visual identity of you. They will position you. They will really understand like a message in their own mind, see your authority. And from the time they speak to you, that's when they know you have to offer. So it's so important to understand like there are so many different judgments. There are so many different positioning of a person in your own brain before you have a conversation with them. And so that's where, when you think of your own brand and what you're trying to present to the world, how can you create a more premium positioning just from the moment you walk into the room? This is your energetics. This is the way you're standing. This is how you're speaking. This is the where you're sitting. This is all these things people are noticing about you even before they have a discussion. And so, my question for each of you is what you're offering, does it match the authority that you're holding for yourself? Again, like what do you say about yourself in secret, in quiet? How do you define yourself? I'm easygoing, I'm relaxed, it's easy. No. Am I powerful? Am I talented? Am I gifted? How are you explaining these things to yourself? How are you sharing that? And how are you looking when you're walking into a room, when you're online? How you're positioning yourself? How do you describe yourself? And so that's what I want you to really do is reverse engineer that with your offer, with what you're sharing with the world. Reverse engineer it so that you can really allow for our subconscious mind, for those people's subconscious mind to see it even before you share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that this next piece, and I would invite you to share anything you see, but you shared your experience of like when I was ready to up level, I got a really beautiful photo shoot done. And we're going to talk today about some cool things that we have available now to help elevate women's brands here as well as your businesses. But are you branding where you've been? Are you branding where you're going? And I think that that's a really important thing is to think about for me, like as the star of my own movie, right? As that rock star, as main character energy, am I positioned as her or am I positioned for where I've been? Anything you would add into that or say?
I think it also comes with having the courage. Like a lot of times when we are coaching women, I just want to share this because I think it's really important. They say like, who am I to position myself this way? Or like, can I say that about myself? Yes, you can. Because there was a period of time where I was frustrated with the way that people were seeing me. I was like, can't they see that I'm more powerful? Can't they see, that I can do all these things? And I was like, wait a second. I'm not sharing that in my brand, in my positioning, in my authority. Like, I'm not actually sharing that to people. And so position yourself where you want to go. And if you feel like there's a part of you that still gets to sync up with that, good. That's exactly where you want to be. So boldly position yourself and position yourself in the space that you want to take up. And that's where you get to be really intentional about the future branding rather than the past branding. It's so important.
Amen. Amen. We've created something and we'll share it here in a few minutes, but the opportunity to help you do this where you don't even have to think about it, where you can come in for a day and leave, and this is done and created for you, which we're really excited about because I think one of the things we've been talking about lately is the power of speed in business and how it's more important than ever. I think that a lot of brand creation and million-dollar brand creation used to be a process that was tedious, could take a long time. I helped form a personal branding company years ago, and it's become one of the largest personal branding companies out there, and it's amazing. But we used to sit there and we would have like days of just brainstorming with clients on their brand. It would be pen to paper and very old school, and it was amazing. But now we have something created where you can walk in and walk out the same day and have like your million-dollar brand created. It does not have to take a long time, both energetically and visually. So we'll share a little bit more about that in a few minutes here, but it's super exciting. I'm going to go, just so we have time for everything, I'm going to move a little bit quickly through these next slides, Allison. But do you want to speak? Do you want to start speaking just a little bit to the media day experiences and what we've created that we'll share a little bit more about at the end?
Yes. Oh my gosh. This is a quantum leap in itself to go from maybe not having a personal brand or having a personal brand that represents an older version of you or just I guess a younger version of you, but the older identity, to having you see yourself in the way that you're becoming. And so when we take women through these media days, they really are a quantum leap. And the momentum and the power that comes from being able to have your identity, your vision, who you are come to life is so powerful. And to Elise's point, I think one of the most important things, and to what Christy O'Donnell said, like we go into the inner work to pull out your gifts, to pull out who you're becoming, to pull out that higher level vision. And then we help you say those words about yourself, position yourself, and then actually capture everything that we need to be able to bring it to life in a really powerful and easy way. And with the world we're in right now, when it comes to personal branding, I truly believe that everyone should have a personal brand because we are in a trust deficit. We are in a space where company brands are not trusted as much as personal brands are. And with everything that's happening in the world, we can do this faster, but we want to do it in a way that is most powerful. So that's what we do. We help you get clear on that vision. We help you get clear on the gifts. We help you get clear on the inner work, anything that's holding you back from truly saying what you want to do. And then we capture that the next day. And watching women go through this in our previous media days has been such a quantum leap for them.
We love and are so lit up about seeing you shine, like seeing you in your greatest light, seeing you embrace your greatness, seeing you see yourself in a different way too. And so we're going to share a few pictures here in a couple of minutes of just like behind the scenes of what this looks like. And we'll share more about how to actually do this with us coming up too. But it's really, really fun. So before we do that, I want to talk about let's talk about the actual math behind making $1 million for a minute. Is there anyone here who's like, okay, I'd love to make 1 million. That sounds really fun. And Allison, Elyse, how in the world am I actually going to do this? Like, I can't wrap my brain around the how. I know my brain did that for a while. We want to show you how simple this is. Patty, thank you for your honesty. I really thought that and wondered that for a long time myself. And then again, like I told you, I used to work so hard to make like $10,000 a month because that was my financial threshold and thermostat. When I did this work, I had a day where I made 60 grand in a day. This was early on in my career. And I remember I was like, what? Seriously? Was it that easy? I was like, are you kidding me? It's not that hard, y'all. It's not. So we want to show you the math behind it. Now, again, you got to do the identity work to make this feel natural and normal, but the math is also pretty simple. All right. You have a $5,000 offer. And part of what we'll do, so we're going to share with you about these $1 million brand packages that we've rolled out. Part of what we're doing is helping you build out your package, your signature package. And I think part of what's cool about this is that there's, whether you're an existing entrepreneur and you want to just elevate what you're already doing, or you're a brand new entrepreneur, you just don't want to waste time with any of this. You can make $1 million a lot of different ways, right? If you want to do super premium high end and have a six-figure super juicy package for your clients, then that's 10 clients in a year, right? You have a lower ticket offer, a $5,000 offer, 200 of those, you're making $1 million. A $10,000 offer, 100 clients. That's what, 8 a month? It's not that many, right? It's not that many. So there's so many different paths. And I think that the question isn't how to do it, but it's really what is the simplest, most elegant way to get there? Price Pritchett talks about this a lot in U Squared. It's about what's the most elegant, again, I'm going to use the word efficacy. What's the most efficacious? That's a mouthful, but it is a word, I believe. What's the most efficacious way for you to get there? That's part of what we want to help you do. Because if you're going to be a woman who makes the amount of money you want to make, who makes a lot of money, but also has time for lifestyle and travel and freedom and experiences, and maybe to be a mama or a partner or a wife or a grandmother, whatever it is for the stage of life you're in, this is not about hustle. Let me sell 8 million things to try to get to my goal. This is about what are my God-given gifts? What could I create that would have the hair on the back of my neck stand up with excitement because I love it so much? And then how can I offer that in the most powerful, direct way to the world? That's what this is about. So it's really quite simple. There's 3 levers to this that we look at with you in these VIP days and in these $1 million brand strategy packages, which we'll talk about here. Number 1, who is your buyer? All right. We want to be super clear on who your buyer is. Number 2, what is the problem that you're solving for them? All right. Again, this is where we look at your gifts, your talents matched with what the world needs right now. And I think that's something that we love doing, is helping you find that intersection. Sometimes when you're in it, Allison, I remember you gave the analogy of it's like this, which made me laugh. And I can't, like, you can't see it because you're so close to it. We want to sit with you in a room and help distill and pull out your gifts, your uniqueness, your magnificence that you just don't see because you're so in it all the time. And then how to best position that for the world. Allison, anything you want to add in to that?
Yeah, I would say that the what very often is something that we get to go even deeper on. And again, like, because this is the industry, like, this is where you are with it. The problem that you're solving is likely a different problem than you think it is. And when you can really dial that in, when we can help you uncover that bigger problem, like that's the $1 million product. That's the $100,000 product. But it's really being able to see it and describe it. And Patty says, like, should we go after the luxury market? It just depends. It just depends on who you want to serve. But what I would say is we are in a moment in time where, one, it has never been a better time to start a business or scale a business. Never been a better time, truly. And two, the people in the world need something different from you. And that difference is directly attached to your gifts.
Yeah.
So helping uncover, pull out, really ascend those gifts, bring them to the surface, and then describe them in a way that helps people really understand, like, yes, it's Linda. Yes, it's Cindy. Yes, it's Christy. This is who I want to work with. So it's very, very powerful.
Yeah. And Linda, to your question of if your prices are set by the industry you're in, I would say, okay, are there any other mortgage brokers out there making $1 million? If so, which we know the answer is yes. All right, what are they doing? To Patty's point, going after the luxury market 100%, right? Like, maybe that's it. It could be a shift in positioning, but I would want to look at who is $1 million Linda. So there's identity work in that. There's how does she think, feel, and act? How much money is she willing to receive? How does she view herself? Because I can tell you right now, the clients, the realtors you're attracting are based on your own self-concept of who you think will work with you. So we would want to look at that $1 million version of you. How does she perceive herself? How does she think, feel, act? Making that feel safe for you as well, for your nervous system. And then from there, there is an outer representation of that as well, the brand, the packaging, the positioning. So it's both and, but 100%. If anyone in your, I want you all to look at, you're going to have examples in any industry of people crushing it and people making no money. What's
Mhm.
the difference? It's not the industry. It's not the strategy. It's this. So look at, is there anyone in my space who's making this amount of money? What's the most amount of money someone's making in my space? Set your target there, right? But then you've got to go to how do they think? How do they feel? How do they act? And then start to position yourself that way as well. All right. So, oh gosh, hold on. I clicked the wrong. There we go. All right. So, coming back into this, all right, you do not need 100 new strategies. There's these three pillars we talked about today. It's about feeling like $1 million. That's your identity. That's when you get, I am her. Number two, it's looking like $1 million. How do you visually present yourself online to your clients, to your prospects, to yourself? And then it's three, how are you selling? What are you actually selling? What's the offer? So the packages and what we've put together and what we want to share with you today is something that we are incredibly excited about to help support you in doing this as well. If you're ready to step into your $1 million brand, your $1 million business, what does that actually look like for you? So let me just pause. Does anyone have questions on anything that we've shared so far? We want to hear about some exciting things coming up and what's available. I want you to just think about this before we share this. You have the option now to continue in, I'd say, one of two paths. And we're going to share with you a little bit about what we've created. There is an investment involved. It's not going to be for all of you, but it is going to be for some of you, and that's totally fine. And you're going to know who you are. When you start to connect with a higher plane of possibility, and hopefully today you've started to see for yourself what's possible. You've started to conceptualize yourself as your $1 million self. We come to a bit of a crossroads and a fork in the road. What I know now as a woman who has been at that crossroads, and Allison, you would probably agree too, is that you have two choices. And one of the choices is to say, that's nice. That's for someone else, but not for me. I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing. And I'm here to tell you, if you keep doing what you've been doing, there's nothing different that's going to happen in your world. And in fact, I think with the way that the world is changing, and this isn't scarcity or fear, but it is just a bit of a healthy dose of where we are right now in the world, in the market, AI, all of that. Like, we're being asked to evolve, we're being asked to change. I think that if we do not proactively change, we're going to find ourselves in a position that's different in a not great way moving forward, potentially as well, right? So the opportunity here is to say, either I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing and I'll keep getting the same results or not even as good, or I'm going to make the decision that I'm worthy of this. I'm going to make the decision to step into my $1 million self. I'm going to make the decision to be supported in this. And I'm going to realize that Allison and Elyse are no different than me. Anyone else who's done this, no different than me. They simply literally made a decision. They raised their hand. They said, I'm done with the suck. And suck can just be things being okay. Like, it doesn't have to be bad. Suck can be mediocre. Suck can be, yeah, things are good. They're okay. We want you in a position where life is great. We want you in a position where business is great, where things are amazing, where money is flowing, where opportunities are flowing, where you have kind of that it factor that, like, oh my gosh, why does it feel like life is like business is flowing, opportunities are flowing, money is flowing so easily for me? That's 100% available for you. And that's the inspiration and the vision behind what we want to share with you today. Allison, is there anything you want to share or add on to that before we share about these three different opportunities we have?
I was just thinking about what you said of like us being no different. And it is true. Like we just literally were like, let's do it. Like, let's go. This is what I'm no longer available for. And so there's so much power in that of just being like, I've decided this is it. So yeah.
Yeah. I remember for me, right around the time I made that decision, I had had a good friend pass away at 39 in his sleep. And he left behind a wife and 5 kids, just like that. And I think I was 35 at the time. And I just remember, like, I'd spent so much time kind of waffling in my life and looking at other women or other entrepreneurs who like had the business and the life I wanted that was on my vision board. I was helping them even build their businesses. But I would look at people like standing on the big stages, making the big money, in the media outlets with the podcast the way I wanted. And I always thought there was something different about them. And I think when Greg passed, um, it was kind of a wake up call for me of like, no one is coming to tell you that it's time. No one's coming to give you permission. You also don't know how much time you have, not to make it really somber, but like, I was like, I don't want to waste any more time. I don't want to sit back and say, well, someday or maybe or this or that. Like, I'm going to take control of my life, my business. I'm going to play full out. I'm going to go for everything that I feel in my heart is possible for me, even if I have no evidence of it yet. And I'm going to go all in on me. And I think it's that energy where you're unavailable for anything else that moves mountains. I firmly believe your must will move mountains. And so if it's a must for you to no longer play small, if it's a must for you to see what's possible for you, if it's a must for you to live your vision, to be the star of your own movie, to make the $1 million plus, to go out and sell and serve in the world in a powerful way, to make the impact you want to make, that's why we've created these programs and these packages, is to support the woman where this is a must and this must happen for me. So we'll share with you a little bit about what's available, what it looks like, how to get involved. We have something that's really special today because we want to just honor women who are like, you know what, let's go. This is a must for me. I'm ready. I'm not playing small anymore. We have some of you on this call who have already done that for yourselves, and we're so proud of you. And we love supporting you. And if you're sitting here and you're watching this and you're like, oh my gosh, I want that too, I'm ready. We want to help support you and share with you how you can get involved in what we're doing here. So there's three different options that we've created, three different programs and levels of investment that are available here to help you build out your $1 million brand and your $1 million business this year. The first is a media day. And this is really, really fun. I'm actually going to go to the next slide and share. Allison, do you want to share about these media days? We've got two coming up that we want to share here, but do you want to share about the media days? These are pictures from behind the scenes of the last one you did, and just what happens in a media day, what a woman can expect, and how to know if it's for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is where you come into the room and your brand comes to life. And it's with a small group of other women who are cheering for you and celebrating you and watching you actually share your message. And so there is, I wanted to make this as valuable and as time efficient as possible, where these are some of the things that we sometimes can put off in our business. We're like, oh, I'll get that keynote done at some point, or I'll get those photos done later. I'm like, let's get it all done at once. So we help coach around the messaging piece ahead of time to get you ready to do a keynote that day. You do podcast clips, you do photo shoot, and we walk you through every single step of the way. And so you walk out with essentially a brand package, like all of your assets done that you can put on your social media, you can put on your website. And truly, like as someone who helps design and build websites for very, very high level women, this is like non negotiable for us. When we're like, what media assets do you have? And they're like, here's this old photo and headshot from like 3 years ago. We're like, we can't do it. Like the visual aspects are so important, especially today on your website, on your social, like very, very high quality. And so this media day, we allow you to come in ready to go, makeup done, lipstick on, and get it all done. So it's such a wonderful experience.
Yeah. I think about just the power of coming in and in one day walking out and you look like an absolute rock star. You do. And so the media day, the pictures you see here, this is the first level of opportunity to get involved. This is a group experience. We take up to 5 women in one day. We've got one event coming up in Maine on November 5th at our studio there. And then our first one for 2027 is February 25th in California. So we have these two beautiful spaces that we've built out and created for you to come in and create and record your content and your assets. But our next one, November 5th in Maine, in the She Sells and Superhuman Selling headquarters. They're beautiful, y'all. We just got done building out the new set there. We're recording the podcast there for my brand, but it's beautiful. It's bougie. It's high end. I built it out because I was looking around Maine for like a beautiful podcast recording set, and there was nothing there. It was all really kind of like bro techie culture feel. Just like, it wasn't cute. I'm just gonna be real. It wasn't cute. I was like, we need something beautiful to come in and record our content. And so we built that out in the studio there. And so you can come in. This is the most affordable option, to come in and create your media assets in one day. And so with that option, the tickets for that are 55.55. And we're going to share links here in the chat and in the email that goes out afterwards. But I think Rose has links to share with you here today. For those of you who get your ticket through midnight tonight, you get 10% off of that. All right, so that brings it down to 5,000 after the discount. So you can secure your spot now for the main media day. You can secure your spot for the Newport Beach media day that'll be coming up in February, if that's a better timeline for you. But through the end of the night tonight, you get 10% off. Now, the thing that we're doing for those of you who are purchasing a ticket to the main media day, the next 2 days after that, we have an event that we're holding in Maine called Million Dollar Weekend. Some of you were there for the one we did earlier this year in California. It's a phenomenal 2-day event where you're going to build out your $1 million business, your wealth energetics, your identity, your self-concept. We're bundling in a ticket for that for you when you purchase your media day. All right. So that ticket, a la carte, $444, we're going to bundle that ticket in for you for those who are getting your media day today, and we're taking 10% off. All right. If you have any questions on any of this, type them in the chat. We'll answer questions at the end. Thank you, Rose. So the coupon code for that is $1,000,010. You can apply that at checkout. It'll take 10% off. Huge opportunity there. The second level that's available here, we call this $1 million brand. Now, here's how I think about this. Allison and I love building brands. Allison has owned a phenomenal marketing media agency for years, one of the best in the business at this. I've been honored to work with clients like Lewis Howes on his personal brand, for any of you who know him, billionaires, top 10 podcasters. My background outside of selling is very, very heavily in brand strategy and helping people build really world-class brands. For those of you who want a more curated experience, who want to have personal time spent just on you for that day, and actually for a 2-day experience, we've created what we're calling the $1 million brand opportunity. We're rolling out 6 of these over the next 12 months. It's a 2-day immersive experience focused entirely on you. The first day is a VIP day. Christy O'Donnell, we just got done with your VIP day, right? Don't want to put you on the spot, but if you want to, but I'm about to put you on the spot. I didn't tee you up for this at all. Are you willing to share a tiny bit about your VIP day in your experience?
Sure, yeah. It was incredible. It was so great to be able to kind of customize it around some of the pieces that I really had top of mind around some of my launches. And I think just spending a complete day with both of you and your energy and all of your brilliance was really a catalyst for moving things forward really quickly.
Amazing. Amazing. I completely put you on the spot. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you.
No, okay.
Thank you. So that VIP day, so it's a 2-day experience. This is scheduled at a time that works for you. We pick a day and time. You can come out. East Coast is in Maine, West Coast in California. The first day, VIP day, entirely focused on you, your business, your brand. We also do wealth energetics. We do some spiritual work there, depending on what you're needing, masculine, feminine energetics. It's designed to help you become the $1 million version of yourself on that day one. So even just to use Linda's example before, Linda was like, I want to become $1 million Linda, like the $1 million mortgage broker. That day one is about who she is, who she sells to, what it's about, the version of her. With that done, we build out the business plan, all of it in one day. The next day is your own private personal media day. We bring in a photographer, a videographer. They are there to capture all of the assets for your brand. You are a very different woman than you were when you stepped in on day one. And we get that done for you in 2 days. Again, the way that I think about this is like a year's worth of brand work in 2 days. It's fast, it's efficient, it gets it done. You leave with real results. The investment for this, there's one level A, which is 25,000, and there is a deposit that you can do on both of these. That gives you the 2-day experience, a VIP day, an intensive, and then the next day, your full media day. The second level, we actually help you, we get all of that, and we help you build out your new website. You also get featured placement in She Sells Magazine, which is our global magazine. We spotlight, highlight, feature amazing female entrepreneurs and sales leaders around the world doing incredible things. That goes out to our entire community. We have a global community in the She Sells and Superhuman Selling community that goes out to everyone. They see you, your brand, your greatness, your uniqueness. That goes out afterwards. What we're doing again today, for those of you who want to secure one of those 6 spots, it's just a $5,000 deposit. And you're also getting 10% off the entire package. You don't need a discount code at checkout. You just do your deposit and we'll honor that 10% off of the entire package for you. And then we'll coordinate your day, your timing. We'll do it at a time that works for you. You have your $1 million brand in 2 days. It's phenomenal. And then the third option, and this is application only, we have a program called $1 Million Business. So the first level, the media day, is for the woman who's like, I want the assets, like give them to me fast. I'm ready to like, great, cool, let's do it. The second level is for the woman who says, I want the brand. I want the $1 million brand. We've got that for you. The third level is the woman who says, I want the entire business and I want your help building it and doing it. Maybe you're a woman who's in corporate and you're like, you know what? I'm ready to become an entrepreneur, but I feel like I don't have 10 years to do it. I want a successful, lucrative business fast. I don't want to waste time with this. I want to get this done. Maybe you're an entrepreneur and you're ready to supercharge your efforts. You've been doing it on your own for a while. And you're like, you know what? I know there's another level, but I don't want to waste time. I know that time is money. I know that the longer I sit on this and I don't make $100,000 a month or $200,000 a month or $500,000 a month, which is what I know I want to be making in my business. I know I'm losing money every month. I'm not doing this. We help you supercharge and shortcut the process to building $1 million business because we've done it ourselves multiple times over. We know how to do it. We know what sells. We can spot the energetic leaks in you and your identity. And it's not making anyone wrong, but we can hear it. Like, where are you leaking money? Where are you leaking opportunities? Where are you not seeing yourself as the $1 million entrepreneur? We help you identify as her, step into her, and then actually build out your business from there. Allison, do you want to speak to anything there? The 3 different tiers as well. And again, it is application only. You've got to book a call to talk to us about this, but I'd love if you want to share a little bit more about anything I didn't say there that you think is important.
Yeah, the whole time you were sharing this, I was just thinking how much money I would have saved if I would have had this when I first started my business because of how quickly, how aligned, how powerful all of the energetics, the identity, the nervous system, that internal work plus the strategy. And having both is very, very powerful. And so we have 3 different tiers. One of them we will advise you, we'll guide you, we'll build alongside you, we'll act mostly as like an advisory, as a coach. The second tier is we actually build things for you. So we actually build your brand inside of the second tier. We will help you get all of your messaging, all of your offers, all of your team, everything up and running, so that you don't have to do that alone. I know very often as founders, we feel very lonely, that we're working on things on our own. We don't have that executive team around us. And then the third tier, we actually build right alongside you. So website, team, CRM, all of it. We come in and act as your partner to get your brand and your business up and running. So you can choose how much support you want with it. And our goal really is to collapse time, to help you take that vision and bring it to life. And as we all know, business is a spiritual game. It is an identity game. And so that piece of it is so important. And Elyse and I working together, bringing our own zone of genius, our own messaging, marketing, identity work, nervous system work, neuroscience work, speaking experience. It's like you have like 10 coaches in one with our experience to be able to bring this to life for you. So that's the $1 million business. And it's such a powerful experience. Actually was talking to one of our clients yesterday and she was like, I cannot imagine where I would be without you two working on and supporting the identity, but also really getting strategic, especially in today's world and marketplace, on how do we monetize, how do we make those millions faster and really allow you to have that support system along the way.
So good. It's a both and. I think that some people think, okay, I'm going to build my $1 million business and they're all in their masculine energy. So think like strategy, spreadsheets, CRM, like that's a fast track to burnout. That's how I tried for a long time. And that's when I was actually capped and I couldn't get past that 10K a month level. And then sometimes women are all in their feminine and they're like, okay, I'm just going to
Yeah.
sit and manifest and chill. And I'm going to put it on the vision board and I'm going to look at it. It's just going to all come to me. I love that. And there's action involved. There's strategy involved. There's both. So regardless of which level you choose, we want to support you in both anchoring into your feminine, which is the identity, the consciousness, the vision, the feeling state, the nervous system alignment, the opening, the allowing, the receiving, right? How safe and worthy do you feel to receive $100,000 this month and next month and the month after that and the month after that and the month after that? The embodiment, it's all super feminine energy. And the strategy, the masculine piece is amazing too, right? That's where we look at what are your offers? How do you bring them forth into the
Mhm.
world? What's the most timely way to do this? What are the systems that are going to help support you? Allison's an AI whiz. We didn't even talk about this on that call, but like, what are the systems, the tech, the team, the AI that's going to help support you in that? We want to bring them both to you. But there's a way to do it where it happens very quickly and where we kind of collapse time and space. And it's the blending of those energies to help support you in that as well. So again, 3 levels. We've got, and this is a little real quick, this is a behind the scenes of a VIP day we did recently. That's in our main studios and offices. So you can get a little peek of like the vibe there. It's super cute. But so we've got the 3 different levels. We've got the VIP day, the group experience, that next one coming up November 5th in Portland, Maine. You can secure your ticket today for 10% off with that code $1,000,010. And Rose put the links in the chat, which is great. The next level up is that as a private experience for you, $1,000,000 brand, 2-day immersive experience. We're working together, pouring into you on your VIP day. It's luxe, it's bougie. There's surprise experiences too. By the way, we didn't even talk about that. There's gifts. It's so fun. And then the next day, we're actually building out your brand assets together. And then the third option, it is application only. It's our private coaching program, but $1,000,000 business, where we actually help you build out your $1,000,000 business over the course of a year. So, does anyone have any questions on any of that? If you do, we are here to help answer them. We've got through midnight tonight. That 10% off code is going to get you 10% off the media day or the $1,000,000 brand package. All right. We also have, for anyone who needs it, we have a funding partner. One of the things I know about money is that when something's a must, there's always a way. We always find the money for what's a must for us. But if you need some support around the funding for any of this, we have a funding partner. We can send you the link. For them, they provide funding specifically for coaching and personal development. They're phenomenal. We use them quite a bit. But it's just a $5,000 deposit today on the $1,000,000 brand package as well. And I think that link is in the chat there as well. So you can secure your spot. We've got 6 of those over the next 12 months, and then they're full. Secure your spot. We'll pick your day. We'll start building out around your brand as well. So you just kind of tune in and see, okay, which path feels most like me? Is it media? Is it brand? Or is it, no, I want the full-fledged business. If you want the full-fledged business, book an application call with us. Rose, if we could type Allison's calendar link in the chat, we're going to send it out in an email as well. But if you want to book a call about that, an application call, I know, Allison, you've got some openings next week for
Mhm.
women to chat with you about that too. Yeah. So you are welcome. If you have questions, you can raise your hand. We're happy to answer them here. I'm also just checking in the chat. Um, let's see here. Avanti, I'm just reading your question from a little while ago. You know what? So you asked how to not feel like an imposter when you're in the rooms of people who make that much a month. I honestly think that's a sign it's a sign you're in the right room. If you step in and at first you're like, wait, is that okay? Am I like, can I be here? Do I belong here? But here's the thing, that's the part of you get to overcome in the building of this business and the having of this brand. So there's always, with your business, with creating your $1,000,000 brand and business, it's not like the end result is inevitable when you focus on who you get to become and being a vibrational match for her. So it would be the overcoming of the part of you who feels like an imposter. It would be letting that part of you go lovingly and stepping into the part who naturally owns the room, who feels like she belongs it. That would actually be the thing that would shift it for you. So when we're working with clients, that inner work first, we have a process that we do to help you really tune into who is the version of you who feels like a natural in that room where it's like, of course, I'm making 50 grand a month. Of course. And then we work with you to actually embody her. Anything you would say or add on to that, Allison?
Yeah, I would 100% second that. Like you're in the right room. If there's a
Yeah.
part of you that's like, whoa, like look what they're doing, look what they have or who they are, like instead of thinking that there any level of like competition or comparison, think of it as inspiration. When you feel that sense, I look at women, I'm like, I'm so inspired by you. I'm so inspired by you, or allowing yourself to be an inspiration in your own way. So that's what I would say. It's like, it's a good sign.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Any closing words for our ladies who are here? Oh, I love that. Linda in the chat. Yeah.
I
Anything you would
think
say?
sometimes when we make decisions that allow us to be more of who we know we're meant to be, after the decision, we look back and we're like, that was so obvious. Like, of course, that was what I was meant to do. Of course, this is where I'm meant to be. But thinking from this state, it can feel sometimes like, can I, is it? And that's where I want to invite all of you to really think through this next 6, 12, 36 months as the world is shifting and changing. How are you? Who are you deciding to be in this change? How are you positioning yourself in the world as it's shifting? And by making powerful decisions, decisions that are not in scarcity, decisions that are in alignment with the person that you're becoming, that's how you know in the next 6, 12 months, you're like, yes, this is exactly it. And I think that's part of what Elyse and I are good at is really allowing ourselves to take that next step, to take that ascension, to make those decisions, to see the future and make a commitment towards our future instead of our past. And there's so much power in that.
Yeah. I think that sums it up. That's brilliant. Make a decision, take action in favor of your future versus your past.
Yeah.
So if this is speaking to you, if you're like, you know what, I'm ready for $1 million brand, I'm ready for $1 million business, here you go. You need no other sign than this. We are here to help support you. We love bringing your vision to life and helping you feel so lit up, so proud, and start to actually receive the money, the abundance, the opportunities, the clients that you know you're there to serve. And so we would love nothing more than to support you, to help you step into this next level with ease, with fun, with flow, with grace. And we can't wait to help support you. So if you have any questions at all, you can reach out to us or our teams. We're going to send out an email after this. So you'll be able to just reply back to the email if you have questions. But here's what I would say. You have a knowing already. You already know. I'm really big on I act on my knowing. Whatever is speaking to you, take the next step on it. Book the media day, send in the deposit on the $1 million brand, do the application call for $1 million business. We are here to help support you. The universe will meet you after you take the next step. That's how it always works. So we take non-negotiable declarative action to say, yes, this is happening. And then the how reveals itself after that. So we would love nothing more than to help support you in really creating not just your dream business, but your dream life in these next few months and years. So, all right. Thank you all so, so much. We love you. Thank you for being here. We're here. We're excited to help support you in your ascension. All
Great
right.
to see you
Take care,
all.
everyone. See
Bye.
you soon. Bye.